Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, thank you. Today is explanation of upcoming episode of Battle Through the Heavens based on novel. So let's start. Yao Chen's disciple, I really wish to meet him. By being able to be selected by that extremely picky fellow to be a disciple, it is likely that he possesses quite outstanding abilities. I wonder just how he will compare with the Cao clan and the Dan clan. Those two are of a monster-like class. Based on their momentum, they will very likely possess the qualification to be the next great heads of the Pill Tower a century later. Forget it. There is no need to be bothered about anything else. The pill gathering is about to start. We should organize it properly. As for the Hall of Souls, they might be strong, but they cannot do as they like. If any soul-stirring conspiracies are uncovered, the GU clan and some of the hidden ancient factions will not allow them to do as they like. Currently we just need to prevent the 3000 burning flame from landing in the hands of the Hall of Souls. Let's scatter first. Be more attentive during this period of time, yes. After this voice sounded, the conversation between the great heads of the Pill Tower slowly ended in this illusionary space. When the little fairy doctor woke up from her deep sleep the next morning, she was a little startled upon seeing the scene of spring within the courtyard. You have awakened? Xiao Yan, who was training on a large rock, also opened his eyes at this moment. He looked at the little fairy doctor, smiled and asked. The little fairy doctor slightly smiled. She stood up and the black robe on her body rolled down. Her body vaguely trembled upon seeing the robe. After which, she squatted down and picked up the black robe. Her hand gently rubbed the robe as a warmth flashed across her grayish-purple eyes. Mr. Xiao Yan, have you woken up? An elderly voice sounded from outside the courtyard. Yi Zhong's figure appeared at the door. He involuntarily smiled when he saw Xiao Yang and the little fairy doctor inside. Xiao Yang leaped down from the stone and asked with a grin, "We about to leave?" Yi Zhong nodded and replied, "Let's go. I will bring you to the test location of the Pill Tower to get a tier badge that is recognized by the Pill Tower. The little fairy doctor and the rest can remain here. They need not follow this time around." The little fairy doctor hesitated for a moment upon hearing this. She looked at Xiao Yang. Only when he tilted his head did she softly utter, "The both of you should be careful." Xiao Yang smiled. His eyes interacted with Yi Zhong for a moment before turning around and heading out of the Yi manor. The young lady hurriedly cried out when she saw that Xiao Yang was grabbing at her. However, her voice was a little late. Xiao Yang's hand had already reached her arm with lightning-like speed. Before he could use any force, however, his expression had become horrified. This was because he realized that the spiritual strength lingering between his eyebrows was gushing out and beginning to show signs of surging into the body of this young lady. Xiao Yang violently bit the tip of his tongue. He released his hand as though he had suffered from an electric shock. After which, he took 2 steps back with some lingering fear. His eyes were shocked as he looked at the small, pale-faced, young lady in front of him. There was a badge on the chest of this young lady. The badge was a circular drawing that appeared like a medicinal pill, someone from the Dan clan. The young lady was really quite young. She merely looked around 18 or 19. Her delicate body was small, while her pretty face appeared pale. From the looks of it, she seemed to be in a sickly state. Of course, the thing that attracted Xiao Yang's eyes was not this young lady's outer appearance. Instead, it was that circular-shaped badge on her chest. He had seen this badge on the mysterious snow-white carriage when he had arrived in Holy Pill City. Hence, he understood that this badge was the clan badge of the Dan clan, one of the 5 great clans of the Pill region. Are you all right? The young lady supported herself to her feet with her hands. She timidly glanced at Xiao Yang and softly inquired. Xiao Yang's mind only shifted away from the badge of the Dan clan upon hearing the young lady's voice. His eyes looked at the young lady in front of him with surprise. The horrific scene from earlier had caused his heart to pound at this moment. Earlier, he had clearly sensed an extremely strange suction force had erupted from the interior of this young lady's body. Under the suction force, even his soul could not resist but show the terrifying signs of being sucked out. Xiao Yang rubbed his hand. He took another step back without anyone noticing. This young lady might appear 17 or 18, but she emitted a strangeness. Moreover, she was someone from the Dan clan, which kept an extremely low profile. This caused Xiao Yang to involuntarily be a little more cautious. "I'm fine." The young lady only let out a gentle sigh of relief after seeing Xiao Yang shake his head. However, her gaze was a little strange when she looked at Xiao Yang. It seemed that she was a little surprised that Xiao Yang could remain fine even after having touched her. That I'm sorry, the young lady swept her eyes over Xiao Yan's face and apologized to him. After which, she turned around and rushed off without waiting for Xiao Yan to reply. She merged into the human flow and disappeared. Xiao Yan's eyebrows were involuntarily knit when he saw this young lady go, whose every action was emitting a strangeness. He vaguely felt that this young lady was not simple. Xiao Yan, follow me. Yi Zhong's voice suddenly sounded beside Xiao Yan's ears while he was deep in thought. Xiao Yan hurriedly recovered. He looked at the frowning Yi Zhong, who had walked to his side, and asked, "Can we enter?" Yi Zhong nodded. He hesitated for a moment and said, "I have used some connections that can allow you to use a special examination room. However, there are some other people in that examination room now. In my opinion, perhaps we should come tomorrow?" Xiao Yan looked at the somewhat dim expression of Yi Zhong. He raised his eyebrows and asked, "Are they the other clans?" The white-clothed lady appeared extremely cold. Her pretty eyes swept over Xiao Yan and Yi Zhong, and her eyes contained a disdain and ridicule that she could not hide. Currently, the Yi clan was no longer able to hold on to the name of being one of the 5 great clans. It was a little embarrassing mentioning them. "This noisy old woman is someone from the Bai clan." Yi Zhong's face twitched because of the old woman's ridicule while he softly introduced her to Xiao Yan. Xiao Yan slightly nodded. His eyes landed on another spot. There were also 3 people standing there. The one leading them was a yellow-clothed, old man. There was a man and a woman behind him. The man was handsome while the woman was beautiful. They appeared like an extremely matching pair. Although these 3 people did not utter any mocking words, their eyes merely swept over Xiao Yan's group before turning away. Their disdain and contempt was even more infuriating. Although Yi Zhong did not introduce these 3 people, Xiao Yan also understood that they should be the so-called members of the Qiu clan. Have the people from the Yi clan also arrived? There was another white-haired, old man in purple alchemist robes within the room. The smile on his face was much more sincere when he saw Yi Zhong. Clearly, he had some sort of friendship with Yi Zhong. "I have troubled Elder Wei Li." Yi Zhong cupped his hands to the white-haired, old man as he courteously replied, "What is there to be so courteous about between the 2 of us?" The old man who was called Wei Li sighed when he saw how Yi Zhong acted. "All right, Yi Zhong, there is no need to be so long-winded. I do not wish to be delayed because of you. Is this brat the person that your Yi clan has sent over? Why does he not even have a tier badge? Don't tell me that he has never obtained a badge from the Pill Tower." The grey-clothed, old woman waved her hand impatiently. She immediately glanced at Xiao Yan and coldly laughed. "I have really never obtained any badge from the Pill Tower. This is also my first time here." Xiao Yan honestly replied in the face of the ridicule from this grey-clothed, old woman. As expected, what tier badge are the 2 of you preparing to take?" The white-haired, old man swept his eyes over them as he randomly asked, "Tier 6 middle grade." The white-haired, old man raised his eyebrows upon hearing this. He looked at these 2 with some surprise. It was considered quite good to be able to take the test for the Tier 6 middle grade at this age. It seemed that this Qiu clan had gained some talent during these years. "The 2 of you should wait for a moment. You will head to the Xian Gate in a while. There will naturally be someone who will test you inside." The white-haired, old man pointed to the second of 4 doors from the left as he instructed them. This man and woman with good looks nodded and took a step back. They exchanged looks with one another, appearing a little proud. The surprise of the white-haired, old man caused them to feel quite satisfied. By clan, the 2 men behind the grey-clothed, old woman were the first to step forward after seeing the eyes of the white-haired, old man turn toward them. They said in a clear, loud voice, "Tier 6 middle grade." The voices of these 2 were quite loud. It caused the man and woman from the Qiu clan earlier to change their expressions. A soft snort was immediately emitted from their nostrils. That cold white-clothed lady slowly stepped forward after the 2 of them and uttered, "Tier 6 high grade." The expression of the old man from the Qiu clan changed slightly upon hearing this while the grey-clothed, old woman displayed a proud smile on her face. "Not bad." The white-haired, old man slowly nodded. This Bai clan was filled with talent. Compared to the Yi clan, the white-haired, old man sighed in his heart when he thought of this. His eyes turned to Yi Zhong as he said, "Yi Zhong, it's your turn." All the gazes within the room instantly gathered on Xiao Yan after his words sounded. There was faint disdain in their eyes. The Yi clan had lost quite a lot of face during these years. Xiao Yan slowly stepped forward in front of the many gazes. He glanced at the white-haired, old man and asked, "What is the highest tier that I can be examined for in this place?" The white-haired, old man was startled when he heard this while the others let out mocking laughs. "Tier 7 middle grade." This is the limit I can examine here because the old me is merely at the tier 7 low grade. Which tier test do you wish to take? Xiao Yan slowly nodded and randomly uttered, in that case, tier 7 middle grade. The ridicule within the room immediately ceased when these words sounded. Although the three people from the Xiao clan did not laugh like the Bai clan, their eyes swept across Xiao Yan with some doubt. Clearly, they also thought that this little fellow was bluffing. This place will not tolerate you joking around. Are you certain you wish to take the test for a tier 7 middle grade badge? The white-haired old man also revealed a shock in his eyes as he looked at Xiao Yan. Immediately, his expression became solemn as he asked in a deep voice. While the white-haired old man spoke, his eyes also turned to Yizhong beside Xiao Yan. The shock in his heart involuntarily became even more intense upon seeing the slight smile on Yizhong's face. Could this little fellow really possess such an ability? Such a young tier 7 alchemist. This was a little incredible, yes. Xiao Yan continued to nod upon hearing the deep voice of the white-haired old man. He immediately cupped his hands together and asked, I will be troubling Elder Han. May I know what steps are needed in order to take the test for a tier 7 middle grade alchemist? The expression of the white-haired old man also became graver after hearing Xiao Yan's insistence. If Xiao Yan was not a fool, he would not use this test to seek his own humiliation in such a situation. Even though this was the case, he really felt some disbelief in his heart. Since you insist, we will do as you say. Hopefully, you are not joking around. Additionally, you can just call me Deacon Han. I am unworthy of the title. Elder Han Li slowly nodded as he replied. Xiao Yan smiled and nodded. However, a snicker sounded from the side. He turned his gaze, only to see the cold woman from the Bai clan. The corner of her mouth contained a chilly ridicule. Clearly, she despised Xiao Yan's actions. According to normal circumstances, she was the one being tested for the highest tier among those present. She would naturally be the most dazzling person within this special examination room. Everyone else should enter their respective rooms, and Li nodded and commanded after seeing that no one had any objections. Hearing this, the other 5 people from the Bai and Qiu clan, with the exception of Xiao Yan, separated and entered the rooms that represented their level. The white-clothed, cold lady appeared like an arrogant swan as she entered the DI room alone. The remaining 4 people entered the Xian room. The place gradually became quiet after the 5 people entered the rooms. Xiao Yang stood there. His eyes swept around him before he shut them to recuperate. That old woman from the Bai clan glanced at Xiao Yang. She spoke in a sharp tone, appearing to be dissatisfied with the silence. Yizhong, the young people that your clan teaches these days are really becoming arrogant. No wonder you are unable to find any members of the younger generation you can use these days. Yizhong coldly smiled and replied, using one's position to bully others. It is just that the old me does not wish to argue with you. With your tier 7 low grade level, you do not have the qualification for the old me to pay attention to you. Did you not forget your disgusting mannerisms when my Yi clan was strong back then? Yizhong's fierce retort caused the old woman's face to instantly become green. Her eyes were dark and dense as she stared at Yizhong. She laughed sharply. Alight, I will remember these words of yours. Once your Yi clan is removed from the 5 great clans, I will let you regret the words that you have said today. The old man from the Qiu clan by the side slightly frowned. Although he also looked down on the Yi clan, which was in decline, it did not reach the point of adding insult to injury. After all clans rose and fell. No one could guarantee that the other party would not rise again. Noisy, not only are the young from the Bai clan uneducated, but even the old are the same. Yizhong's expression was gloomy in the face of the sharp voice from the grey-clothed old woman. Before he could speak, Xiao Yang opened his eyes. He coldly glanced at the woman and faintly spoke, "Little bastard, who do you think you are? You dare to speak to me in this manner?" Xiao Yang's calm, disregardful gaze resulted in the grey-clothed old woman feeling an urge to twitch the corner of her eye. This brat, although he did not speak much, each and every action he made was filled with an endless amount of arrogance. This point also caused Xiao Yang to appear displeasing in her eyes. The eyes from the old man from the Qiu clan also paused on Xiao Yang's body. He immediately shook his head as he quietly sighed in his heart. This member of the younger generation from the Yi clan really could not make it. Offending an expert from the Bai clan in such a place was really not a logical thing to do. The room had become much calmer after Han Li appeared. However, the eyes of the grey-clothed old woman became denser as she looked at Xiao Yan. They caused one to feel somewhat chilled. Creak. This unusually quiet atmosphere continued for an unknown amount of time before the tightly shut Xian door was slowly opened. 4 people slowly walked out. Other than one person, whose face was flushed red, the chests of the remaining 3 had a badge on them. A flame was winding around the badge, forming a tower shape. There were 6 purple gold stars emitting a glaring glow on it. If one were to carefully observe these 6 purple gold stars, one would discover that the 6th star was a little dimmer compared to the previous 5 stars. This was the indication of the middle grade. If it was the low grade, the star would be even dimmer. However, if it was the high grade, the star would be as bright as the other stars. The Tier 6 middle grade test has completed. 2 people from the Xiao clan have passed while 1 person from the Bai clan has passed, and Li glanced at the 4 of them before slowly speaking. A smile surfaced on the face of the old man from the Xiao clan upon hearing this while the grey-clothed, old woman frowned. She viciously started at the man who had failed to pass the test. Soon after these words from Han Li sounded, the tightly shut DI door was slowly opened. A white-clothed woman slowly walked out with arrogant footsteps. Her voluminous chest had a flickering badge. There were 6 bright purple gold stars on it. Tier 6 high grade, the test for the Tier 6 high grade is over. The Bai clan has passed. Yi Zhong placed his hands behind his back in the face of the ridicule from the grey-clothed, old woman as he waited for the final test result. Another half an hour passed before the tightly shut Tian door was slowly opened with a slight creaking sound. The attention of everyone in the room was braced when they saw that there was finally a reaction. After which, their eyes instantly focused on the door. A white-haired figure slowly stepped out after the door was opened. At this moment, Han Li was knitting his eyebrows. He shook his head and softly sighed. Joy immediately surfaced on the grey-cloaked old woman's face when she saw how Han Li acted. After which, her eyes turned to the area behind Han Li. Xiao Yan's skinny figure was slowly appearing at that spot. All the gazes within the room immediately paused on his chest when he appeared. That spot was currently still empty. A mocking expression quickly surged on the grey-cloaked, old woman's face after she failed to see any tier badge on Xiao Yan's chest. A proud laugh was involuntarily emitted from her throat. That white-cloaked, cold lady by the grey-cloaked, old woman's side also lifted the corner of her mouth. She slowly shook her head. This person was indeed a clown who only knew how to act great. It was funny that she had really waited here for half a day. That old man from the Xiao clan also shook his head. His eyes contained some pity as he glanced at Yi Zhong. This Yi clan really appeared to be finished. Yi Zhong merely frowned in the face of the gazes within the room that were filled with various emotions. However, his expression was not as pale as the others had imagined. He was clearly aware of Xiao Yan's ability. Although he did not dare to say he was 100% confident that Xiao Yan could obtain a Tier 7 middle-grade alchemist badge, he was, at the very least, 80% confident. Moreover, looking at Xiao Yan's expression, it did not appear to be that of someone who had failed. Trash is trash. No matter how one jumps, one will only be a clown. The Yi clan is finished. The grey-clothed, old woman's ear-piercing laughter sounded within the room. The joy within her heart at seeing Xiao Yan fail was really not something that could be described by mere words. Han Li frowned in the face of the sharp laughter from the grey-clothed, old woman. He focused on her and faintly said, "It is a little too early for you to be happy. Who told you that he has failed the test?" Numerous gazes within the room were startled as they looked at the dazzling badge that Xiao Yan was flipping around in his hand. The room immediately became completely silent. Tier 7 middle grade. Not even that grey-clothed, old woman, the old man from the Xiao clan, or even Han Li had ever reached that tier. Now, however, this badge that represented glory had landed in the hands of Xiao Yan, who appeared to be an extremely young man. Yi Zhong's face was filled with smiles. He fondled his beard, especially when he saw the interesting expressions of the grey-clothed, old woman, and the others. Joy that was difficult to describe surged out of his heart. Ever since the decline of the Yi clan, it had been a long time since he had seen these fellows reveal such expressions. The grey-clothed old woman's face was volatile as she looked at the badge in Xiao Yan's hand. A moment later, she finally could not resist uttering, "Deacon Han, issuing tier badges is not a joke. Are you certain that there is nothing wrong with the test?" Han Li's expression sank upon hearing her words. He demanded, "Are you doubting that the old me has tampered with it?" The grey-cloaked old woman hurriedly smiled upon seeing Han Li's sunken face. "How would I dare? However, it is just that I find it difficult that the Yi clan, which has declined to such an extent, would be able to produce such a young Tier 7 alchemist." The white-clothed lady beside the grey-cloaked old woman also slowly recovered. Her eyes were complicated and strange as she glanced at Xiao Yan. Her contempt had already completely disappeared at this moment. Although she was at the Tier 6 high-grade level, she clearly understood just what kind of great gap was between her and a Tier 7 alchemist. Moreover, this Xiao Yan was a Tier 7 middle-grade alchemist. The face of the grey-clothed, old woman turned pale almost instantly after the two fists collided. Shock surfaced on her face. Immediately, a mouthful of fresh blood was spat out. Her body flew backwards and finally collided with a wall. With the exception of Yi Zhong, everyone in the room revealed stunned faces upon seeing the grey-clothed, old woman spitting out blood in defeat within the first exchange, especially for those 3 other members of the Bai clan. They clearly understood the strength of this grey-clothed, old woman. She had the strength of a dozone, yet she was unable to even block one punch from Xiao Yan. The three of them exchanged glances with one another. The white-clothed lady among them was so shocked that her face had paled. Xiao Yan's figure slowly appeared in front of the ashen-faced, grey-clothed, old woman. His eyes indifferently glanced over her as the corner of his mouth was lifted into an ice-cold arc. Who do you think you are? You dare to utter the word trash in front of me? Everyone in the examination room looked at the grey-clothed, old woman who was unable to even last for one exchange against Xiao Yan. Some cold sweat surfaced on their foreheads. Xiao Yan had attacked suddenly, and he did not hold back because of the other party's status. He could be considered ruthless. Han Li's face was similarly a little stunned. He only bitterly smiled and shook his head a moment later before glancing at Xiao Yan. This fellow was not as gentle as he looked when he became ruthless. Deacon Han, I'm sorry to fight in this place. Xiao Yan's eyes indifferently glanced at the grey-clothed, old woman who had collapsed on the ground. After which, he turned his eyes to Han Li. That warm smile from earlier once again appeared on his face as he spoke apologetically. When everyone saw this smile once again appearing on Xiao Yan's face, no one in the room dared to threaten him as a little sheep whom they could randomly mock. This was predominantly true for those three members of the Bai clan. They took a couple of cautious steps back, afraid that Xiao Yan would suddenly attack them. Even the grey-clothed, old woman was no match for Xiao Yan, much less the few of them. Han Li sighed. A moment later, he could only wave his hand and say, she can be considered to have reaped what she sowed with regards to this matter. However, your attack is a little too merciless. Forget it, Bai Wei, bring your people and leave. The white-cloaked, cold lady clenched her silver teeth upon hearing this. Her eyes were a little terrified as she glanced at Xiao Yan. She led the other two members of the Bai clan. They lifted up the grey-clothed, old woman, who was lying unconscious on the ground after spitting out some blood. After which, they left this examination room in a somewhat miserable manner. The three people from the key clan by the side also did not wish to stay in this place any longer. Their eyes glanced at Xiao Yan with alarm and uncertainty before they withdrew. You little fellow, you really just attack as you wish. Although I feel extremely refreshed in my heart, the Bai clan will definitely not let this matter rest in the future. Yishong could not help but shake his head after seeing the others leaving in a dispirited manner. Xiao Yan smiled and replied, it's fine. If the Bai clan wishes to find trouble with me, I will just have to accompany them. Looks like the Yi clan is very confident in passing the test this time around. Yishong, congratulations. Han Li slowly stepped forward, cupped his hand to Yishong, and congratulated with a smile. Bai Ying. I have heard of this person. He can be considered someone who possesses a great amount of talent in medicinal refinement. Even Cao Dan from the Cao clan is much poorer than him. Yishong's expression was a little solemn. If this Bai clan were really going to send out Bai Ying, the situation would end up a little unpredictable. Other than the Yi clan, the other four great clans among the 5 great clans were all extraordinary. They did not lack talents comparable to Cao Dan in terms of pill refinement. These people had a great reputation even when placed within the pill region. Even though the Yi clan had Xiao Yang's help this time around, it was still not an easy matter for it to obtain the top 3 spot. The matter today had completely offended the Bai clan. Additionally, they had offended the Cao clan some time earlier. Therefore, these two clans would definitely send out some troublesome competitors to obstruct the Yi clan. As for the Dan clan, this clan might keep a low profile, but they always steadily alternated between the top or second spot in every test. However, no one had ever seen them falling to 3rd place. Hence, this Dan clan would also be a hidden competitor. Thus, the top 3 spots were basically occupied by the Cao clan, the Dan clan, and the Bai clan. It would not be easy for the Yi clan to squeeze in. Forget it. There is no need to form such a headache. Since things have already developed to such an extent, we can only leave everything up to fate. Han Li comforted when he saw Yishong's vexed appearance. His gaze immediately turned to Xiao Yan as he laughed. Moreover, the helper that your Yi clan has invited this time around is also not an ordinary person. He might even be comparable to these geniuses from the 3 clans. Yishong only smiled upon hearing this. He sighed, currently, I can only place all my hopes on him. The survival of the Yi clan will be determined by this test. Xiao Yan and Yishong said their goodbyes to Han Li after remaining in the branch tower for some time. The both of them randomly roamed the outer region of the Holy Pill City. With the approaching pill gathering, the Holy Pill City's crowds were also becoming terrifying. Whether it was day or even night, the entire city was so noisy that it could shake the sky. Moreover, with the increases in human traffic, all sorts of people would naturally be mixed among them. Some strange items also began to spread through this place. There was no lack of genuine treasures among them. Of course, this was only the case if one's eyesight was sufficiently good. Yizhong finally stopped Xiao Yan, who had wanted to continue roaming about when the sky was gradually becoming dark. Forget it. If you wish to search for treasures, the alchemist trade fair that will be held the day after will truly be an eye-opener for you. The things there are mostly extraordinary. If you are lucky, you might even be able to obtain an unexpected treasure. Xiao Yan helplessly nodded after hearing Yi Zhong's words. Back then, he had randomly obtained the Skyfire 3 mysterious chains from a trade fair. Unfortunately, it seemed that he currently did not possess such good luck. Yi Zhong led the both of them out of the trade area after seeing Xiao Yan withdraw his mind. After which, they hurried back to the Yi clan. At that time, Xiao Yan would have the confidence to stand above everyone else even in the pill gathering. However, this kind of thinking was too misty. The condition from last night was one that he could meet but not desire. No matter how Xiao Yan calmed his heart, the starry sky appeared just like everywhere else, becoming ordinary. It seems that I must go and take a look at the so-called alchemist trade fair the day after tomorrow. It would be best if I am able to obtain something to train my soul there. Xiao Yan shook his head and finally gave up this futile effort. He let out a bitter laugh, turned around, and entered his room. Since he had already planned on participating in the alchemist trade fair, he would need to prepare some things that could attract others. Otherwise, even if someone else's thing caught his eye, it was likely that he would have to quietly give up if he was unable to take out something that the other party was satisfied with. Xiao Yan completely locked himself within his room during the next day. The little fairy doctor and the others did not disturb him. In any case, by looking at the hot air that spread from his room, all of them could guess that Xiao Yan was perhaps refining something again. Xiao Yan hid in his room and refined for one day and one night. Only when the first rays of morning sun cut through the darkness and shot into this small courtyard the next morning did the tightly shut door slowly open. Xiao Yan walked out of the room. He took in a violent gasp of fresh air. The corner of his mouth parted into a smile as he rubbed his storage ring. Although he was a little pressed for time, it was fortunate that he still had some remaining stores from before. In a manner of speaking, he could be considered quite a wealthy person. Yi Zhong, the little fairy doctor, Tian Huazunsha, and Xin Lan were already standing outside when Xiao Yan left his room and entered the courtyard. They were all looking at him with smiles. You ready? Yi Zhong involuntarily laughed when he saw Xiao Yan's manner. Xiao Yan smiled and nodded. After which, he waved his hand and said, "Let's go and take a look at just how great this Holy Pill City's alchemist trade fair is." After saying this, Xiao Yan swiftly walked out of the courtyard. After which, he walked in the direction of the alchemist trade fair that Yi Zhong had mentioned 2 days ago. The little fairy doctor and the rest grinned behind him and followed behind at a steady pace. They were also somewhat interested in this so-called alchemist trade fair. The location of this trade fair was in the outer region of Holy Pill City. However, its location was not bad. It was at the intersection between the outer and inner region. It was rumored that this trade fair was supported by the Pill Tower, and was the reason why it had developed into such a grand affair. It was precisely for this reason that murdering and robbing when exchanging for things within the trade fair seldom happened. After all, no one could escape being chased by the Pill Tower within this Pill region. Alchemist Trade Fair. Xiao Yang stood in front of a building that occupied a vast space as he looked at a pale green, wooden plaque. The words, "Flying Dragon Dancing Phoenix," were written on it. He involuntarily wiped off some cold sweat. This trade fair was known by this name. At the moment, the front of this trade fair was filled with people. The human flow was just like floodwater as people moved to and fro. Countless numbers of people in alchemist robes successfully walked by the guards located at the entrance of the trade fair in front of numerous envious gazes. They then entered the building. Is this the place? Xiao Yang looked at the grand trade fair. He turned his head and asked Yi Zhong to his side. That's right. Yi Zhong grinned and nodded. He immediately reminisced about fond memories. It has been many years since I have been here. It has changed quite a bit. Xiao Yang smiled after confirming his target. After which, he slowly walked to the front door of the trade fair. When the cold and stern-looking guards were about to stop him, Xiao Yang took the Tier 7 alchemist badge which he had just obtained from the test the day before, out of his storage ring. He gently stuck it on his chest. The stern-looking guards slowly took a step back upon seeing the badge on Xiao Yang's chest. After which, they bowed to him. According to the rules of this alchemist trade fair, alchemists Tier 7 and above were allowed to bring some companions. Hence, Xinlan and the rest were not stopped. Instead, they were allowed to follow Xiao Yang through the spacious front door. There was a spacious and cool pathway behind the large door. Xiao Yang's group had successfully arrived. After which, a seething noise suddenly pounced toward them, entering into their ears. Xiao Yang's eyes swept around him as he stood at the exit of the path. An extremely spacious hall appeared in front of him. Many orderly stone platforms were present within the large hall, appearing like street vendors. There were some people who appeared to be vendors seated behind the stone platforms. They appeared lazy and not like businessmen at all. Of course, they were not businessmen. The crowd within the large hall was terrifying. Moreover, most of them were wearing alchemists' robes. Clearly, they were alchemists. After speaking, Xiao Yang took the lead and walked into the large hall with great interest. After which, his eyes began to sweep over the surrounding vendors with the intention of finding the things he needed. Yi Zhong could only helplessly nod his head when he saw what Xiao Yan did. The few of them followed close behind him. Wandering around this crowded large hall exhausted a lot of time. Xiao Yan had only looked at 20+ vendors when 1 hour had passed. What really left him speechless was that he had gained nothing. Although the quality of the items here was much higher compared with some trade fairs, it had not reached a point where he was interested. The things in this place have already been strictly filtered. Moreover, these fellows are all people with extraordinarily sharp eyes. It is not an easy task to obtain a treasure that others did not discover from the hands of these people. Yi Zhong behind Xiao Yan finally could not resist saying after Xiao Yan gradually became disappointed, if you really wish to seek treasure, you will need to head to the 2nd or 3rd floor. Xiao Yan involuntarily rolled his eyes when he heard this. He muttered, you should have just said that earlier. How can I disturb you when you are so excited? Let's go. We'll first head to the 2nd floor. Yi Zhong shook his head. After which, he pointed in the direction that led to the 2nd floor. Xiao Yang nodded and followed. With the qualification of Xiao Yang's group, it was naturally not a problem for them to head to the 2nd floor. Although it was a little strained in regards to Xinlan, the guards hesitated for a moment, but after they saw the Tier 7 middle grade badge on Xiao Yang's chest, they allowed everyone through. The noise was significantly reduced after they got to the 2nd floor. The size of the 2nd floor was also quite large. Bright crystals covered the floor, giving it a smooth, mirror-like surface. It caused one to feel a little dazzled looking at it. Quite a number of crystal platforms were present on the crystal floor. One could tell that the things on these crystal platforms were of much better quality than those below with just a glance from afar. The blood essence demon fruit was an extremely rare medicinal ingredient, a demonic fruit that absorbs essence blood. This fruit hid underground and absorbed the life force within essence blood before it eventually transformed into the shape of a fruit. The blood essence demon fruit was a key ingredient in refining the bone-growing blood-fusing pill. This bone-growing blood-fusing pill was the medicinal pill that Xiao Yang intended to refine at this pill gathering. Peak of the 7th tier. It could even step into the 8th tier. This bone-growing blood-fusing pill was terribly difficult to refine. Moreover, the medicinal ingredients needed were unusually rare. The chance of one successfully refining it was extremely low. If Xiao Yang had not chanced upon a couple of lucky encounters recently, gradually filling his soul with spiritual qi and allowing him to feel his pill refinement become smoother, he would not intend to refine this bone-growing blood-fusing pill. After all, this medicinal pill was indeed too hard to make. Of course, it might be difficult, but this bone-growing blood-fusing pill was a medicinal pill that Xiao Yang needed to successfully refine. He needed to refine it because of Yao Lao. When he rescued Yao Lao in the future, he would need to resolve the issue of his body. Refining a body would require the bone-growing blood-fusing pill. Yao Lao was not Qian Huazhongzhe. Xiao Yang would put in all his effort at all costs in order to refine his body. Only the bone-growing blood-fusing pill would allow the body to be perfect. Refining the bone-growing blood-fusing pill would require 3 key ingredients. They were the blood essence demon fruit, 10,000-year-old green spiritual vine, and snowbone ginseng. Although Xiao Yan possessed many high-tier medicinal formulae left behind by Yao Lao, it did not mean he could fearlessly and randomly spend them. The blood essence demon fruit was indeed precious, but it was far from being able to match a Tier 7 middle-grade medicinal formula. Moreover, this medicinal formula had to be one that the other party had never practiced. The eyes of the red-robed, old man were a little embarrassed. He knew he was asking for too much. However, he refused to step back. After all, he was aware that the blood essence demon fruit was the most valuable and precious item among the things in front of him. Xiao Yang shook his head when he saw the red-robed, old man refuse to lower his price. He turned around and instructed Xinlan, we will first head to the top floor and take a look around. You cannot head up there, so you should just remain here. Find a spot and say that you wish to purchase the blood essence demon fruit, 10,000-year-old green spiritual vine, and snowbone ginseng. The conditions for purchasing them are fully refined Tier 7 middle-grade medicinal pills. Xinlan nodded when she heard his words. After assigning this task to her, Xiao Yang turned his head to the red-robed, old man as he faintly said. This is the price I will set to exchange for the blood essence demon fruit. It is up to you whether you want to exchange it. If you have thought it through, you can go and look for her. Xiao Yang ignored the red-robed, old man's frowning expression after speaking. He turned around and walked to the top floor. A Tier 7 middle-grade medicinal pill in exchange for a medicinal ingredient. This was quite a good price. Xiao Yang was too lazy to say any more unnecessary words to this old man if he did not accept this offer. The red-robed elder did not even manage to open his mouth before Xiao Yang's figure disappeared by the stairway. Although he struggled over the price within his heart, he understood that the one who could hold out longer would gain the advantage in this transaction. All of them were experienced players when it came to attempting to play hard. It was only a matter of who could simmer until the other party could not endure any longer. That person would be the true winner. Xiao Yan was not surprised by the red-clothed old man's silence. Hence, his feet did not pause. Instead, he headed to the top floor. There were two elderly men standing at the entrance to the stairs that led to the top floor. These two people wore faces that were full of friendly smile. However, the robes on their bodies indicated that they were people from the trade fair. Neither of them wore an alchemist badge on their chest. However, from the vast and might do chi that spread from them, it was obvious that these two people were strong expert do zones. These two old men were initially startled upon seeing Xiao Yang's group walking over. Their eyes swiftly flashed across the badge on Xiao Yang's chest. His bright Tier 7 badge caused surprise to flicker in their eyes. It was rare to find such a young Tier 7 alchemist. Their eyes paused on Xiao Yang for a moment before turning to Yi Shong, the little fairy doctor, and Qian Huazunja. Their eyes slightly narrowed when they passed over the latter two. Although they were unable to sense the exact strength of these two, they understood that these two were frightening existences who had advanced to the Dozun class. Cuckoo, important guests, are you planning to head to the top floor? Of the two, the yellow-robed old man took the lead to step forward. He cupped his hands together and asked with a courteous smile. Xiao Yang grinned, cupped his hands together, and nodded. The few of you seem very unfamiliar. It should be the first time that you have come to this alchemist trade fair, right? The yellow-robed elder asked with a smile. Why? Could it be that one must be a regular in order to go up? Xiao Yan raised his eyebrows and questioned. Although these people felt curious in their hearts, all of them understood the rules of this place. Hence, it was naturally impossible for them to foolishly try to inquire. This was considered taboo in such a place. Cuckoo, you can let me know if there is anything that you need. I might be able to provide you with some information. The yellow-robed elder spoke with a grin. Xiao Yang mused for a moment upon hearing his words. He nodded and replied, I need 2 types of medicinal ingredients. 10,000-year-old green spiritual vine and snowbone ginseng. 10,000-year-old green spiritual vine, snowbone ginseng. The yellow-robed elder muttered the words in his mouth. He thought for a moment and said, they are all very rare medicinal ingredients. They are likely used to refine a high-tier medicinal pill. I do not have any information about the 10,000-year-old green spiritual vine, but as for this snowbone ginseng, it must be said that your luck is good. There is a snowbone ginseng among the items being traded on this floor. Oh? Xiao Yang's eyes brightened. It was unexpected that a random inquiry had enabled him to obtain information about the snowbone ginseng. Cuckoo, follow me, the yellow-robed old man grinned. After which, he turned around and walked to the northern corner. Xiao Yan hurriedly led the other 3 and followed. Xiao Yang's group followed the yellow-robed elder for some distance before they finally came to a stop at a corner to the north of the top floor. There was a jade platform placed on this spot. Curling chilly air rose from the platform before spreading apart, causing the temperature of the surrounding area to decline. There were some medicinal ingredients, scrolls, medicinal pills, etc. sparsely displayed on the jade platform. From the looks of it, all of them appeared to be extraordinary items. There were quite a number of people gathered around the jade platform. Clearly, they were quite interested in the things on it. Xiao Yang's eyes leaped over the jade platform and paused onto the grey-haired old man's body behind it. This old man was sloppily dressed. His face was filled with a laziness as he bent over the jade platform. He ignored the surrounding observers and dug in his ear without any concern. Cuckoo, old Yang. Your business is quite good today, right? The yellow-robed old man squeezed to the side of the stone platform as he smiled and asked the grey-haired, sloppy, old man. Part 1 end here.